Hi, welcome. This is Mr. Max with NAMCOL for Mathematics. So I have a question here on linear programming that was requested by one of my students. This is also a question in an NAMCOL assignment, I believe. It says Rafiq makes baskets and mats. So the baskets will be represented by X. Let's just underline that with red. Okay. And then the mats will be represented by Y. And then he makes less than 10 mats, so that is represented here. So that is one inequality. The number of mats, that one is the one that we have to write down. The number of mats should be greater than or equal to the number of baskets, right? That is the other inequality. Oops. And that is just one mark. Okay. So that is definitely how you write down that inequality. So right now we have two inequalities as it is. Now we get to part B. It says that it takes 2¼ hours. So let me just write 2¼ 2¼ hours. Well, that will be well, if I wanted to write it as a decimal, it will be 2.25 hours. All right, what do I know? I know that this is to make a basket, and I said basket should be represented by an X. And then 1.5, remember I have mats, so I'm just going to say, so the mats is 1.1½ hours. Well, that is 1.5 hours as a decimal, and that means 1.5y. So together this is going to be 2.25 hours when you make mats, okay, or basket, plus 1.5 hours when you make the mats should be less than or equal to 22.5. Well, you're going to go ahead and you can simplify. Now, there are many ways you can simplify this. Okay, if you wanted to, you could simply multiply so that these things become whole numbers. Okay, but I'm going to change them to improper fractions. Okay, I hope you still know how to change these things to improper fractions. It ultimately doesn't matter. Okay, if you were to change them to improper fractions, perhaps some of you are used to. So let's grab the calculator so that at least we make it a bit easier for you so you don't struggle. Okay, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply then and change them to whole numbers. All right, so let's bring in the red. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply this by 100, so it becomes 225x. All right, so also going to multiply this by 100, so it becomes 150y. And I'm also going to multiply this by 100, which becomes 225. So if you look nicely at these numbers, you would see that all of them can be divided by 5. So 225 divided by 5, not just 5, but let's say it can be divided by 25. Okay, all right. It's not just the only one. So perhaps let's see. Let's use 25. So we can already determine that if we were to divide these numbers here by 25, 25, and 25. So this one here gave me 9x, and 150 divided by 25. So you say 150 divided by 25. Well, it gives you 6. So that's 6y. And 225 divided by 25. All right, so that's 225 divided by 25. Well, that gives you 9. All right, we already determined that from our previous thing. Well, there's another number that can still go in here, and that's 3, of course. Right, so let's just simplify it and further until, so here on top I divided by 25. Okay, so here I'll divide by 3. So obviously, if you divide by 3 here, you divide by 3 here, and you divide by 3. So it's going to give you 3x plus 2y less than or equal to 3. Okay, less than or equal to 3. Well, 225. I need to actually go back. There is a little problem, and I hope you have seen it. It's always nice to refer back to the stuff. So this here, if you multiply this by 100, of course, I needed to add an extra 0. So it's not a problem. So that's an extra 0. So at the end of the day, I'm going to have this as 90. Okay. And when I divide that by 3, I'm going to have this equals to 30. Okay, so this is 30. All right, so I guess this is what we were supposed to show. So it is therefore shown. Right, whatever you do, as long as you get to that. So we have now a third inequality, okay? Hope you remember them. 3x plus 2y is less than 30. Of course, that inequality was given, all right? Then you have this one that you had to find. So this is one inequality, that's a second one, and that's a third inequality. So these are the inequalities that we are going to draw when the next question comes. On the grid below, they want us to draw those inequalities. I hope you can still remember those inequalities. Y is less than, it's not less than or equal to though, it's just less than 10. Let's go all the way back so you can see that. First one, all right, it's this one here. Y is less than 10, it's given. Then I'm going to bring in y is greater than or equal to x as the next inequality. Y is greater than or equal to x. And then the last one is going to be 3x plus 2y should be less than or equal to 30. So this is the inequalities that we are going to draw. Now, when you draw the inequalities, you change these two lines. So this is going to be the line y equals to 10. But this is going to be a dotted line, okay? Because there's no or equal to here, okay? So if there was or equal to, it will be a solid line. This is going to be the line y equals to x, and this is going to be a solid line if you draw it. This line is 3x plus 2y equals to 30. Oh my goodness, that should be equals to 30. So we are going to draw these lines, and this is also a solid line when you are drawing it. Okay, right. So before I do anything, let me just label my grid. Okay, so I'm going to label my grid. Hopefully on yours it is labeled, so I'm going to use red. So everything is then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, all the way up to 16. All right, so that's 0. We can do the same here in order for us to start drawing this. I could have made them in 2, 4, 6. You understand? Multiples of 2. That will be actually a little bit better. So that's 14, 15, 16. Okay, right. So from my y perspective, I know that my y is represented, if you go all the way back, y, I said is represented by the mets. And we're going to then say this x is here, this x is here, this will be the mets. And then obviously the one below, this will be the baskets. All right, so this is the x-axis, and the one on top is the y-axis. All right, so let me just draw a line there, maybe to show, maybe I'll have it a little bit thick, so it is not, I'm going to have a line here. Maybe we'll take it in blue, okay, no problem. So it's going to be then this line here, that is the represented by the y-axis, and this is also then the x-axis. All right, so now that we have that, so we're going to draw the line. So the line y equals to 10, well, that line is a horizontal line, and you can draw that line, no questions asked. You can draw that line, and that is the line y equals to x. But then we said also it is going to be a line that is broken, okay, a dotted line, right? So dotted line, and make it a bit thicker, because, all right, I don't know if you can see that. All right, so it's still an arrow, so I don't want it to be an arrow anymore. I want it to be a line. So let's see, let's have it as a line. Let's make it a bit strong, and let her have it with this blue. So again, it's a dotted line. So that line, well, something like that. Okay. Well, of course, you have the benefit of your grid, and I think your grid is not so um, dark like mine. Right. So in any case, this here is the line y equals to 10. Right. So when you want to write down the inequality is y is less than 10. So one of the things you should remember, y is less than 10 is below. So you are going to shade above the stuff that is above. You're going to shade. All right. So when it's below, you're going to shade above. That means the stuff that is not true. So you are shading the unwanted region. The unwanted region will be here. Everything here is above. Everything above this line is bigger than 10. Okay. So there you go. Any y value here is going to be bigger than 10. The next one we're going to draw is the line y equals to x. Now the line y equals to x is very easy to draw. So the line y equals to x, well, y equals to x. If x, let's say if y is 16, then x is also 16, okay? So I can highlight that point there. If y is 0, then x is also 0. So it starts from the origin here. So again, I can actually draw a line, all right? So let's get our line. This time we have a solid line. All right, so we draw a line from here all the way up to there. Right, so our line, it was saying y should be greater than x. So a line y should be greater than or equal to x. That line is above stuff. The values of that is true is above the line. So what you are shading is above the line. So please make sure, okay, greater than, so it's above the line. So we shade the unwanted region, and the unwanted region that we are going to shade, okay, will be below the line. So we are going to shade this region here. So this region is our unwanted region, because this region here represents everything that is below, that is not what we are looking for. So this is the unwanted region. Okay. All right. So that part is already shaded. Okay, in a solid line. The last one that we have to draw is the line 3x plus 2y equals to 30. So maybe I should just show you how that line is drawn. So the line 3x plus 2y equals to 30. So let x equals to 0. That is 3 times 0 plus 2y equals to 30. That means we are going to have 2y equals to 30. Can you see that? So eventually, if we do that, that is going to give us y equals to half of 30, which is 15. Right, why is that important? Because now I have a point now that I can work with. The point is x is 0, y is 15. So this is a coordinate point that you're going to plot. Then you say let y equals to 0. So you're going to use y to be 0. You will have 3x plus 2 times 0 equals to 30. Well, at the end of the day, I just have 3x equals to 30, and then x will equal to 30 divided by 3 will be 10. Why is that information important? Because now I have another point, and that point is x is 10, then y is 0. So we are going to plot these points, okay? So the point x is 10, y is 0 is this point here. Can you see that? All right. So even if you can't see it, let's then bring it maybe in a color that is a bit different. X is 10, y is 0. The other point is 0, 15. That means x is 0, and that point is all the way up there. All right, so what do? We are going to join that point, okay? So we are going to draw a line. My line from here, 15, all the way down up to 10. Okay, something like that, more or less, okay? I might be out slightly a bit, so I can start again, drawing it nicely from here, all the way up to there. A little bit better. So what about that line that says that line, the inequality, remember the inequality was 3x plus 2y is less than. So the truth is below the line, okay? So the truth is below the line, so you're going to shade the unwanted region, which is above the line. So the unwanted region that we are going to shade is above that line, and that is here above the line. So this is the region that we are going to shade. The other one is already shaded, so nothing to be worried about. Okay, so there we go. So we have shaded, and sometimes they might ask you in examinations, they might ask you to write an R in the region that is required. But in this particular case, that is not the case. Now, in order for us to answer the next one, it says he makes $40 profit. So the profit that he makes $40 on, well, he makes $40 profit on a basket, and the basket is represented by X, and he makes $28 profit on a mat. Okay, so we are supposed to find the maximum profit. So we need to go back to our grid, and we need to find points that will give us the highest value. Now, the way you do that, and this is perhaps one of the things that a lot of students are struggling with. You cannot just choose random points and put them in there, okay? You have to be a bit level-headed. The points that we're looking for are close to the edges. Those points are close to the edges. Those are the points that we're going to look for. But we cannot take points here because those points on that line is a dotted line, so it's not part of the solution. So let's just pick a few points. So for example, I'll pick this point here, which is the point 5,7. I'll pick this point here, but this point here, 5,6, is lower than that. I'll pick a point like 4,6, 4,7, 4,8, even that one, 4,9, right? On the edges. Even if you wanted to pick this one, but you will see in a bit why I am doing that. Clearly, the point that you're going to pick, I'm going to pick the point 4,9. 4,9 is the point I'm going to pick, and I'm going to take, you can take all of them, but I'm taking 4,9. So I'm going to take the point 4,9. So I'm going to go back here. So I'm going to take the point 4,9. All right. Let me take another point. I'm going to take another point, maybe this point here, 5,7. 5,7 for this point here. So we must take the points that are don't go take things where the line doesn't cut. 5,7. So I'm going to substitute in here for X and for Y and see what we get. And maybe we can take another point. Maybe you can take the point 6,6. 6,6. All right. 6,6. Right. 6,6. Right. Just maybe to calm your nerve, I'm going to take one more point. Maybe I'll take the point 4,8, maybe 4,8. Right. So anyway, these are not just random points. I know that this value will be smaller, that one is bigger. All right. So I'm going to test them in here. So you're going to have 40 plus 28, and then we're going to test them. All right. So if we choose 4,8, for example, so if I choose X to be 4 and that to be 8, okay, so we play around. So I'm going to have 40, open bracket, I have 4 plus 28, open bracket, I have an 8 there. Well, I get 384. All right, that gives me about 384, okay? So I'm going to choose another point. I'm going to choose the point 6,6. So I go back to my calculator, and I just go back, and I put 6 here. So I'm looking for the maximum profit. I'm going to put 6 here. Hit enter. Well, I'm getting 408. So we're getting somewhere. So we already choose these two. So let's choose the other point, 40 plus 28, open bracket. So we're going to choose the point 5,7. So if I have 5,7, take my calculator, go back. So that is 7. And that's 5. What do we get? We get 396. Oh, okay, so that point is even lower. 396. It's even lower, so it doesn't work. Okay, so we bring in one last point. Okay, to see what I get. So this is the point 4,9. That 9 makes my work very interesting. So let's go back and see what we get. So that is 9, and that is 4. Voila, I got $412. All right, so this is then the point. Now I chose the other points at random just to make my point clear. Right, look at 4,9, and that point here, 4,9 is right here. Can you see that? Right? Maybe you can't. Maybe I must bring in a different, I don't know. That point is right here. So that point is on the edge. That's the point that we are going to look. This point is looking for all other points on this side because they are just going to be not giving me a high value. So the highest value is always points close to the edge. All right, 6,6. That's why I choose a few, but you are best off choosing points on the line like that. Okay, I couldn't choose that one because that is a dotted line there, so I can't choose that one there. Okay, hope that you get the idea. All right, so a lot of students tend to go and choose all these points in between here. That's a waste of time. So I would have started without any problems. I would have started initially with this point here, this point here, this point here, and then I know it's close to big value. All right, not those ones there, not this ones here, not at all, because that is a dotted line, and on a dotted line you cannot, it's not part of a solution. Well, so at the end of the day, the maximum profit that the person makes each week, okay, so the maximum profit is therefore, well, it's not Namibian dollar, is it? It's just dollars, is $412. All right, hopefully this assisted you with your um, task. So till next time, goodbye.